The reason that God first made Adam one and then two was not that he changed his mind. It's rather that each male and female have the potential of becoming one, of cleaving to each other and becoming one flesh. They become one because they were once one. And when they become one, they are imitating the unity underlining the whole of creation. Now, how is it that the marriage helps us to reach this completion? Besides on this spiritual level of reuniting the soul, we know that we are referred to as an Ezer Kenegdo.
No, the woman is.
Yes.
Not us.
Yes. Did I have that pasuk already?
Yes.
I had it before, right?
Yes, you have.
Yes.
Well, for one.
Just 1 second. Yes, source number 12. And Hashem said, Lo tov, it's not good for man to be a levado alone. Asa lo ezer kenegdo. What marriage, it's very interesting. An infant, it just wants to take everything in. All right, one of my baby grandsons was over Pesach, right? I get close, and what does he do? I don't think my head's going to fit in your mouth. Right? It's just they want to take it, right? And children, toddlers, it's me, right? So they start to learn to share, right? But it's not easy, right? Teenagers were starting to work out relationships, how there needs to be, right, a give and take. But essentially, it's all about me, right? And then we move into a marriage relationship, right? Where it's no longer me, it is we, right? And then we start to have children. And then you're not even on the list, right? You're not even on the list anymore. It's nothing to do with you, right? It's what do they need, right? So we are constantly moving away from self-centeredness, right? God is the epitome of the other-centeredness, and our life stages and experiences are meant to bring us away from our self-centeredness to be other-centered. In source number 16, Jonathan Rosenblum, a pretty prolific writer. In Jewish thought, the purpose of life is to subject one's screaming id, meaning I want, to a higher command of I should. Marriage, in that view, is the best school for self-improvement. For it cannot work unless one is prepared to take account of another's needs and desires. The Torah describes one spouse as an Ezer Kenegdo, both as a helpmate and in opposition. Sometimes the greatest help is that oppositional element, right? But we need to confront. We need to overcome. That is how we get to a different stage. Lastly, from a book titled The River, the Kettle, and the Bird. The River, the Kettle, the Bird is a book by Rabbi Aaron Feldman about relationships. And the title, The River, the Kettle, and the Bird, speaks about different, it is a parable that the Talmud gives about different levels of fusion, right? In other words, the river transports goods from one area to another area. Right? And certain relationships are at a river level, right? This one supplies goods for that one supplies goods for this one, right? But they're basically, each one is helping the other one. They are transporting goods, right? He or she is earning the salary. She or he is minding the house, right? She does the laundry. He does the folding. She does the cooking. He does the cleanup. right? That is, they've worked out their roles of a river, of transporting the goods to one another. The kettle is very fascinating. The kettle is what enables the heat underneath and the water that's inside to become a new essence. It's now boiled water. So therefore, it's not simply working in transporting, but it is the coming together of these two different forces to create something that otherwise could not have been created. Whereas the bird, that's where there is this complete integration between that which can walk, that which can fly, and it's become completely one entity. So that's what the Medrash is referring to when he speaks about relationships in this parable of the river, the kettle, and the bird, and that's the title that he uses for his book on relationships. And he writes there, marriage makes it possible for man to overcome his inclination toward self-centeredness. It permits him to change the focus of his existence from lust gratification to that of the spiritual goal of selflessness. Marriage forces a person to cease his own preoccupation with his own advancement and to concern himself instead with the needs of his spouse and children. As he learns to become concerned with another's interests, man's drives for greed and power are slowly, gradually tempered. As a result, the personality is directed away from natural self-centeredness towards other-centeredness. This is the key to spiritual growth. A quote that I love, that I've mentioned often, not exactly on this, but the same idea, right? Humility is not thinking less of yourself. Mm-hmm. It's thinking of yourself less. Mm-hmm. I don't think less of myself. I'm no less, but my thoughts, I'm thinking less. I'm thinking of myself less.
What did you say? Can you say that?
Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.
And more.
Meaning I'm thinking about other people, other-centeredness. It's a great, great quote. I apologize, I don't know who I'm quoting, but I should find out and give proper due when I do quote that, as I do often. Marriage is, of course, not an immediate ticket to spiritual perfection. We see that most of mankind is afflicted by selfish obsessions, despite their being married. However, marriage puts righteousness within reach. For if one chooses to use marriage properly, marriage can make a reorientation of one's aims possible, redeeming oneself from spiritual wasteland. From the time, we're in the days of Sphira now, counting towards Matan Torah, the giving the Torah of Mount Sinai, right? So we have the Torah to give us the modes of connecting to God and eternity. And the Torah establishes marriage as a Jewish ideal, and that is what enables us to continue on our journey towards hopefully full, but to whatever degree we can attain, of our self-actualization.
Amen.
Okay, Dov?
So, back to source 15 where it says, the